stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mr. Miller.
Here.
Hey.
Here.
Director McAdoo. Here. Number 6, business items, cadet firefighter program, Jaden.
Yeah, so I just wanted
Stand up.
so we are starting a cadet program at the start of the year for local Estacada High School residents, juniors, seniors, to begin their journey in fire service. So sorry, a little nervous, but this program is kind of cool. I did an Explorer program in high school, so I'm glad I got to get a help run it this at Estacada. So they'll, Wednesdays, their cadre will be for volunteers to help kind of guide them through the training. So they're hands-on firefighter skills, EMS skills like CPR, basic EMR requirements, as well as firefighter ones. So they'll pull hose lines, spray water, wear PPE, kind of learn everything under the OSHA standards. They're just not allowed to do ventilation or live fire or extrications due to them being under the 18 years of age. It's all NFPA standards. And then when they turn 18, a lot of the courses that they'll cover is actually covered through DPSSD. This program is designed to increase the local recruitment, so we can get them in high school, keep them here, have them become combat volunteers when they turn 18, and they'll become firefighters in the student program, or they go on somewhere else as paid firefighters. So looking forward to it. So.
That's good.
Awesome. That's
Yes.
one reason why I got involved to get this going again, because I seen what this department had done for kids in our community in the past, and it's great to see this get going. Thank you.
I think a lot of us out there started in similar programs, myself included. They
Yeah.
kind of went away for a while and they need to come back.
Yeah.
I attended a kind of a town hall type meeting this morning at Clackamas Fire with Congressman Wyden and Chief Brown. And that was a big topic, was recruitment, firefighter recruitment. It's an issue in the volunteer ranks. It's an issue with the paid ranks. We're just finishing up our process. We had 15 applicants, 13 that were supposed to be here. 7 of them bailed out in the final minutes, and we only actually went through an assessment center with 6. So it's just crazy to have such small numbers to me for this kind of job. But it's not just us; it's all over the place, all over. Right?
Yeah.
There's a shift in the generations, and I think that this is part of that. Bringing this sort of thing back to the high school so they get exposure to it and start getting in there will help not just at the local level, but just across the board.
Remember McAdoo, they'd give us a pager and you'd be in high school and you got to get out of the class and come down and respond.
Yep.
That was the only reason I did it.
How many cadets are you looking for?
Looking to get 12. We'll have to start this year. I've been talking to Captain Dolney up at home, and we're gonna get the old Estacada fire turnouts back to use for the cadet program.
Oh, good.
It's super cool. So
So you said Wednesdays, just
Yeah.
for my information, like if a kid plays football or whatever,
yeah,
can
so
they do it or they have?
yeah, so there's gonna be some attendance requirements. They have to make, I think, 80% of the classes pass their, well, so the first couple months will be a lot of book work. Kind of going through the death by PowerPoint is what we call it, but we have to do it. And then once we start getting into the nicer weather of the school year, there's gonna be a summer break, but kind of the nicer weather, they'll actually get to go outside and do more of the hands-on training. But looking for 12, Wednesday nights from, I think, 6:30 to 9, and then they get their whole schedule given to them at the start, so they just gotta communicate with the cadre of instructors that we have, so.
Good opportunity.
Yeah. I know Sandy always had a very strong program for years.
Just keep in mind, a young person has an attention span of about 15 minutes. So you got 15 minutes to teach them something, then you better shift it up to something else.
15 minutes is generous.
15.
Generous.
Yeah, okay. Like I said, 50.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
Thanks for taking that on.
Yeah, thanks, Jaden. Okay, B2, need a motion to approve the minutes and the bills.
I make a motion that we approve, and pay the September.
I'll second.
We got a motion from Matt or Director Silva and a second from Director Day. Any comments or anything?
Just wanted to make comment that our first quarter LoSAP payment is included in that.
Yeah.
24,000.
Since we're on bills. Maybe I could leave this to board comments, but. I know one of the bills I've seen, we're getting our propane tanks filled here. And maybe we could compare that cost to the rental place. The rental place was 2.25 gallon. And I don't know what these was, but when I seen that one, maybe we should compare prices.
Which propane tanks you talking about?
Probably the ones for the volunteers.
Up for the barbecues?
Yeah,
Okay.
during the, when we were desperate to get propane home quick and fast, but we were in the cars and stuff.
Yeah.
We just ran over here and filled them up.
Yeah, I have no problem with that, but I just thought that, when we're not in a hurry.
Yeah.
Maybe compare prices.
We can't tap off of our own tank. It's not, it's too big one of them.
We don't have a pump system or a
Oh,
fill hose.
yeah.
And we got
I
it.
just wanted to throw that out there. We might save $1.
Okay, so we got a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, good. Chief, Oregon Department of Forestry Volunteer Firefighter Assistance Grant Award.
Yeah, so we got what they call a VFA grant. Get to the right page. Oregon Department of Forestry Volunteer Fire Assistance Grant. It's a 50% match. It's gonna get us fire shelters, basically wildland PPE. So this is just helping our cause, build our capacity and with wildland gear. Total projects 9,804, 50/50, we'd get 4,902 back. And more or less, this is a project we were already going for anyway, so. It just needs to be approved by the board so we can move forward.
I make a motion that we accept the grant as presented by the chief.
I second it.
Not exactly big dollars, but again, we'll take it.
Good at getting grants.
Yeah,
It's working.
what he said he'd do when he came. Do we have a motion from Director Silva and a second from Director Miller? Any comments? Go for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, so B4 apparatus color. The topic that's been talked about a little bit around. I'd like to start out our conversation with the kind of some thought process of back in the transition committee. We did talk about rebranding. I don't think we got specific with what we were going to rebrand. I know maybe I think there was a discussion about letterhead maybe. We didn't talk specifically about colors of engines or anything, but I was all for the rebranding idea. I wanted this fire department to be different. I was here for a long time. You know, McAdoo's been around, Matthew's been around. You know, I was not happy with how this fire department was run for many years. Although I was a volunteer and couldn't do anything about it, I'm glad we made a change and started our fire department. The effects of that, looks like we're in the process of changing colors. I'm not opposed to changing colors. I think it's different. I said it here, a year ago or so, and whenever we wrapped the two pickups, I didn't care what color they were. I'm just glad they were different because I didn't see Bob Morrissey's face or Richard Anderson's face anymore when I looked at them. So I'm all for change. I'm all for seeing something different. So if anybody wants to take that and make more comments about it and the direction we're going, and feel free.
Only thing that I could say about this is, a color doesn't buy service. I don't know how many dollars it costs to go that two-tone. I would rather see those dollars for SCBA's, for something that can provide service. That's where I'm at on it. I don't think the person that's having a heart attack cares that the truck is black and red or just red when he shows up, long as somebody shows up and is gonna do a professional job.
Right.
So it's just, for me, it's the dollars spent to provide service for the community. So that's the only thing I have to add to that. Oh,
And my concern is watching the taxpayers' dollars. So what, I would like to know what it would cost if we'd have just let these equipment the way it was, or painted in red versus the black and red. Is that $2,000? Is that 4, 8, 10? I myself would like to know that, because myself as a board of directors, I feel that I need to watch taxpayers' money. And myself, I don't think this was a wise use. That's my opinion.
on the same topic, how come the Dodge hasn't had Estacada fire on it yet?
The one I'm driving,
Yeah,
unmarked, fire chief can drive an unmarked vehicle.
okay,
Yeah, I haven't just gone that far.
all right. I was just curious. I
Yeah.
seen that the other day. I thought, wait a minute.
I mean, I got that thing in February
Yeah.
and it just now has the radios put in.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah.
Wow. I thought that was done.
Wasn't that the way it was before, though?
Yeah, it came that
It
way.
was unmarked.
Yeah, it came red.
No, in the past, I
But
think.
when Morrissey had it,
Yeah,
was
no, that's a different
there was,
pickup.
I know it was a
Yeah.
different pickup, but was it marked?
Yeah, Morrissey's wasn't unmarked either.
Yes, it was, but it was subtle.
It was very, yes, it was.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right now.
And we always, in the past, all of our vehicles had a Estacada decal on it. Except, you remember Larry Long?
Yeah, that black, or no, that was Alan.
Black Malibu.
Black Malibu, yeah.
He asked the board of directors if we could get a new Chiefs car. And they did, presuming that it would be a red car. Here he comes with a black Malibu. And he had E plates on it, but unmarked. And he even bragged to me one time, he says, "John, this car is really fun. I was speeding and a cop ran up behind me, seen the E plate and backed off." I thought, oh my God, what are you doing? That's inappropriate. But all of our cars were after, there was a lot of controversy over that black car.
It was Bob that bought it to the board, so the chief's vehicle was always unmarked, and so he said that he went to a conference, a chief's conference, and they said that under this new ruling or whatever, you have to have something on it. And so that's why he put it in the rear view mirror, just a small little thing that said Estacada Fire on his. But we have a ton of chief's rigs that aren't marked in Portland. So
What is the advantage of not having a mark?
I don't know if it's an advantage. It's like, let's say the chief takes, a lot of chiefs take their cars home,
Oh, okay.
right? And so when they go into their neighborhood or their town,
Yeah,
they don't want a billboard in
Yeah.
their front yard, signaling somebody like, so. I mean, a lot of people, just don't like that, so.
The only place I've seen it is big districts like Wallen Valley Fire. He had a personal car to use for whatever. I think Clackamas is kind of that way. The bigger departments were always that way.
Smaller ones too. It's not just the big ones.
I've never seen it. I'm not around as much I used to. But in the old days, I never seen the small ones.
In the old days, they all marked them
Yeah.
regardless, but
And I know it's on the side window of that Ford Explorer.
Right, it's in little,
Yeah.
in the window.
Yeah,
So I guess my opinion on the rebranding thing is I share Miller's just with cost. I personally like the red better, but it doesn't really matter what I like. As long as everybody here likes what I mean, they're the ones driving the firefighters, the chief and the volunteers. Yeah. I suggested, maybe have a committee or whatever, but it sounds like it's already done. So
Yeah, I think it's already done. Go
I don't
ahead.
wanna
Go ahead, chief.
make a huge mountain out of it.
Back when we started the fire department, the board of directors gave the transition committee authority to make the board of directors to look at all angles of our department. It was brought up about rebranding the fire department. And it was decided at that time that we wait for a fire chief to come in and give them the authority to take a look at it and see how we're gonna move forward with rebranding. Part of that was we had a symbol that we used for a long time in this department called drive. And we got rid of, that was one of the things that was brought up, that we didn't want to have that acronym out there. We wanted to change. We didn't, part of it was, as rebranding part of the fire department was that we did not want to look like our neighboring district. We wanted to be Estacada. We wanted to have something that stood out and said that was Estacada. And underneath that, we all agreed on the transition committee, we wait for the fire chief to come in and have them have the opportunity to take a look at it and do a rebranding and how we're going to move forward. Cost of paint on rigs and doing that, two-tone, done a lot of work with rig doing it. There is no difference between a two-tone and standard color rig. It's just when you go into that purchase of the rig, that's just what it is. They want so much money for paint, and two-tone's one of them. You go by NFPA standards, there's a lot of things you have to do to them now that add on to them with reflective striping on the back, down the side, doing all the different avenues to make it NFPA approved. So looking at all that, that's sort of some of the background on this. But we spent a whole week or Saturday sitting down here. On a Saturday?
Dick.
yeah, we
Dick-
did.
Dick
And,
Youngberg, Tom and Dick.
was there, and so we had representation from the board, we had representation from the volunteers, and it was all agreement we did not want to be recognized for what we used to be. Wanted to move it and go move forward with it. And how we're going to do it. And it was even thing we talked at the time of things we had. Have a whole new patch with the part.
maybe came to a board meeting or two and we talked about it. And said, yeah, we're gonna wait for the chief to come to decide the direction for rebranding. Because we knew that the community wanted us to look different. Different than Clackamas Fire, different than we were, so I didn't really give that a lot of thought. But if that's the direction we're going, that's the direction we're going. The only thing is, I know it is an image and we as a board should be aware of our image, so,
Absolutely.
you know, but
I still think that was a big cultural change and it should have been brought to the board. And talked over. Yeah, the I got nothing but
I
negative.
have yet to receive one negative and
Yeah.
neither has any,
As far as
I mean, it's,
I haven't heard
it
anything
hasn't been
negative
that way.
myself.
So if they're out there, they're not.
Yeah, I told him to call you. I said, I can't do anything.
So what about our existing engines and our other vehicles? Are we gonna change those so they're?
No, what we have will just stay as it is and it'll just, they'll carry out for the rest of their life as they
Yeah.
are.
We'll just change as it goes. Any new piece of equipment will be to the new colors. So it's not gonna be we're not gonna go out and spend a bunch of money to change what we already have. Doesn't make sense.
So
I don't like the black hoods because for me, they're harder to see.
contract and you now go back and change the contract, depending on when, how much of an effect it has, and we're at the 0 hour now.
Any
Pretty
chance
much.
that they can
Pretty
add
much at the
cost
0
for
hour.
any change, they will.
bet.
So if this is a big thing, we're all gonna speculate, because you don't know what the charge is, right? Because maybe it is like
Well,
$50 and then it's pretty mute.
So here's the
I'm
deal.
saying, why don't you just find out what the cost?
No, we can't do that. Okay, so look,
If that's your thing.
if we were gonna make a logical decision, we would have to have the facts. What's the change order? What was the cost? Everything else. We can't kick this off till the next board meeting. It has to be finalized tonight. We walk out of here. This is getting too close to this stuff showing up, too close into production and everything else.
Yeah, we're in production.
we-
They're going to do a pre-delivery on one of them next week, so.
Yeah, well, that should be black already.
Right.
So
Yep. It-
if they're gonna do a pre-delivery next week,
Yeah, it's sitting there. It's painted.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anytime that you go to order a rig, and once it's set up to be ordered, do a change order on it, engineering costs, egg on it every time. And there usually ends up delaying quite at least a couple of weeks by they go through change order costs. And then that's what their administration will do all that by the end of it. So change orders do cost money. Anytime
They
you
do.
change or an add to the existing bid that you got out.
So I think for right now, we're just too late.
I think
Even if we all sat here and said, yeah, we all want it red, it's too late. You know, I guarantee you that one is already painted. And then, you know, the tender in Florida, that's the one that's the furthest way out. And that's the thing that's scary too. That's coming down right toward the end of spending that money. We go adding something there, that could kick that off a little bit. We have to take delivery of that by, what's the date before that we,
June 14th.
and when is that scheduled to come in?
We've got to be completed with this June 14th, and I think it's due April-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we're
pushing the
yeah,
line already.
yeah. I just think we're too late to do anything. We don't have the facts for what it costs, what the change orders would be. If there's pre-delivery next week on the one, it's already black. I think it's over and done with. So.
So then
Anyway,
why even take a vote?
so yeah,
That was my thing.
okay,
If you're gonna take a vote, then you get the fact, but if
Yeah.
you're not.
Yeah.
I mean, then it's not votable.
Yep. no.
So chief, you guys like the newer colors?
I wanna know.
I love it. I got to be on the apparatus committee with Joe, and there wasn't any extra cost for the two tone.
Really?
I know that for a fact. And I think it looks great. I think it's the way most fire, and we talk about, yeah, it looks like Ben, it looks like this. It will look like a lot of people because that's just the new way.
A lot of times, which I know Gresham, they're taking the new truck and from now on, they're doing a dark gray over red. Not black, gray, but it's kind of the new thing.
There is one thing that I do like about this is that other than the pickups that were done, we can kind of tell easily what our new stuff.
Yeah.
Was, there is, so,
And the
Anyway.
brand thing to me is kind of, we're gonna be unique in the area.
Yeah.
That's something we own, especially the 8 of us that started being a part of the rebuild of Estacada. It's like,
yeah,
That's our own, it's us.
This is a new type of apparatus, this part that's not that.
Yeah.
The only thing I've heard from the community was like, oh, how much do you guys spend to paint those rigs that were white? Now they're actually wrapped, and that's what it wasn't about the actual design. And it was only a couple people.
that's the whole thing that I'm always told too. My God, they did. And a lot of it is the old Estacada fire. Oh, the way they spend money, and that's just has come into the new. Even though that they don't know much about the new Estacada fire, but we still have that stigmatism from the
So-
old.
Another image for Estacada fire, and I just want to make sure that we're not going too overboard, like when Chief redoes a website. Are we gonna come here and do the website?
Yes,
That's good. A lot of exposure. Some people are on it all the time.
I live with a horrid woman. I don't want to be home till 9 o'clock. Just gotta make sure.
This is recorded, Paul.
I know that. She doesn't ever listen though. Better make sure
So you've
you
seen why I never listens?
Yeah,
Ooh, that's on record now too.
We need to move on.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, ask for forgiveness, not permission. That's how you stay married 37 years. All right, like I said, I think it's over and done with.
Okay, we all in agreement that this is over and done with? John,
Yeah, it's over, done with.
over and done, with.
I don't agree with it, but I'll accept it.
Okay.
It's done. I won't bring it up anymore.
Appreciate that. Okay, let's move on. Board policy spending limits.
So I believe Director McAdoo wanted to discuss something about spending limits.
Was it me?
Yep,
Anyhow,
you called us.
that's right. We discussed at forming the fire department, we're putting a new thing together about putting spending limits on non-budgeted items. And we postponed that. I think it was the first couple board meetings or something. We postponed that. And so I decided to pick it back up. Where do you want to go with that?
What is your spending limit? What does it say?
There
It should already
is,
be in the policy.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking.
yeah, so there's, I found an old policy from here from way back when, and actually, it actually shows that the chief has a spending limit of $10,000, but the SOG that I created within, I gave myself a limit of 5,000 without board approval, so.
Have you ever gone over that?
No, unless if I'm going over that, I'm coming here. So I mean,
Okay.
that's kind of, yeah, kind of a new point to me, but. Yeah, there's a process there. 5,000 in my case, for, the chiefs, it's 2,000, in which case they need to get my approval, and then 1,000. And under, another chief has to approve that for the officers, and the officers can approve up to $500. But, we're well within the actual board policy, or actually about half, so it turns out I could actually double what's here.
That's what I was remembering. I had in my mind it was.
But we
10,000.
haven't, I had Nikki look it up, and I mean, since I've been here, I haven't had anything that hasn't come to this group anyways, so I don't.
I mean, if we stick to that 5 grand, I'm
Yep.
perfectly fine with all of
Keep
that.
it-
Say
keep
the
it the way it
5 grand
is.
one is just the
Yep.
one I created
Yep.
for
Yep.
Yep.
our
Awesome.
internal stuff, which is different from board policy, but
Can you say the other spending limits?
5,000, 2,000, 1,500.
So everybody under you would
Has
have
a
to get
limit.
your approval for them to
Right.
spend that, but that wouldn't have to go to the board unless it was over 5 grand.
Right,
And that's
If there's a house fire and they need to go get meals or food or
Oh,
whatever,
absolutely.
and then you would call the chief and say, hey, I'm gonna get some food delivered, pizzas. You know,
Yeah.
because we've got 20 volunteers and nobody's gonna be off the fire scene until 1 o'clock in the morning, probably, and.
And that's what I have is with the exception of emergency circumstances, and that's to cover MacGyver fire
Yeah.
type stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
That's fairly common in the private industry, what you said, explained to.
Yeah. I think we just leave it as is.
I think so too.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for clearing
Yep.
that up.
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. Here's a big one, logistics, office space, sleeping quarters and storage needs.
It is a big one.
This needs
So-
to be taught.
We spent some time on this last year, about a year ago, talking about how to pay for a new station, things like that. We are busting at the seams here, no question about it, no way around it. So there's obviously the want would be to build a new station, substation, whatever it is, however we go about that. But to do that, we've got a whole lot of process. We've got a long road ahead of us to make that happen. So basically what I'm proposing is that we start looking for office space to rent or lease to move administration into that. To free up this building, so I can free up my office for sleeping quarters, potentially one of the other offices for sleeping quarters. Gives us EMS supply, gives us janitorial supply. The other small house out here would be freed up for uniforms and PPE, because you know, you go look at any one of these places where we're storing things and they're just they're long since overdue to be for some sort of change. The night of the MacGyver fire, we had people that were willing to stay. You know, we were staffing up for the red flag warning and we didn't have places to put them. So we did have to turn volunteers away, and we're kind of running into that on a more regular basis as our volunteer ranks grow. But we've got to make some kind of change moving forward, immediate and long term. And this is a much bigger topic. So not sure where we go from here on how to make this all happen. But I think the station topic has to come back up, and we've got to take some action on that.
I would say I called Terry Emmer White. He said he would get back to me. I told him we needed about 5 to 6 offices. He thought that was a great idea. It'd be right coming into town. You could have your sign. And then he keeps saying, yeah, but he never get back to me. So
Where were you thinking?
many
or
feet?
where-
In that, the
that
old
Forest
Forest
Service
Service.
building.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's right. You did. buy
Right
that.
out of town, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Six square
that'd be-
feet are you looking for? I figured enough for 6 offices for sure.
Well, that's way bigger. That's plenty big.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
over
there's
there,
plenty
that-
of offices
Yeah.
in there.
That facility over there, that would actually be ideal. I mean, it's right by the highway. It has a fenced area behind it. The office space is there. Brad, I've never been in the building, but
Oh, yeah.
I'm making some assumptions with it, but
I've been in it several times. It's a large building. It's got a 1-hour separation wall in it. All-
Gotta throw that fire code. That's
yeah.
So you're gonna make this
Would have
into
never known about. that.
Right.
so this would stay the training meeting room. But like I said, my office could be converted to sleeping quarters. I think the kitchen could become probably EMS supply. I know Nikki's gonna lose her mind if we keep her back there with the IT equipment and the AC going all
I
the
know, I
time.
walked in there last night to get the binder and the fan, that big blower's just blowing away and I'm thinking, gosh, she's gotta be going nuts.
So I wanna, I
I'll
wanna
try him
go,
one more time.
I
I'll
want-
send him a text message.
I wanna go one step further here. So I view this as a Band-Aid and I'm not trying to kick you in the teeth.
You are correct. It is.
So how long do you think that Band-Aid would last?
Long enough to get a station built.
You're probably.
So I'm
talking
thinking a little different direction.
3 years away.
So,
Right.
so bear with me here. You primarily need it for sleeping quarters and storage, correct?
Right.
So. I hate to almost say this, but it's just a suggestion. What if we were to reach out to like Palm Harbor Homes and say, we want a mobile that's got a hallway completely down the middle and nothing but rooms? We don't really need a kitchen in it because we got the kitchen there. What if we knock the little house down and put that there? We're already paying for the sewer on the little house. We're already paying for the water on the little house. If we don't need sewer, and well, we could put a bathroom in there. We probably
Yeah, you
should.
need to have that.
Yeah, but that's one way to amortize those costs into a facility that's much bigger and more set up. It's just an idea. I mean, something that we could get a bid on. I'm thinking take a manufactured home
Mhm.
and instead of having all the big living room and all that stuff, it would just be for sleeping, correct? And then we'd have to have some storage in in a room.
So, yeah, the only problem is if we put it behind here, then you're moving your sleeping quarters farther away. from
I
this
understand
building.
that.
That's one of the,
Is that gonna be a real big issue?
I think it is. A lot of the resistance we run into with the little house is just the short distance that it is, which I don't. think is a
Fast
big deal,
speedy
but-
firefighters in there.
The other thing is too, if you knock that house down, I don't know how the new codes are in the city, but if you take that down, they may not let you put something back in there.
That's right.
Yeah, you'd have to.
I
do
think
some-
that we could.
We'd have to do some research
Yeah,
on the whole.
I
thing,
think
of
we
course,
could
but-
get that through.
How much
What-
leftover did we have last year? Of revenue, it was approaching a million, correct?
We
1.5.
carried over 1.5,
1.5.
but I kind of figured that like 500,000 was probably what we had left over from before
But
already,
we-
so.
We
So
robbed,
call it a
So,
million.
A million.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do it again. We have 2.5 million. You can do a lot with 2.5 million. And if you get a partial loan
no,
or,
everything's gotta be prevailing wage and everything else.
geez,
It-
sure.
No,
I mean, you can still do a lot.
we'll run through that quick.
You're talking about new station? Or you're talking about?
Or an addition
refurbing
on to
something?
that one, go here. I hate to see us go buy another mobile home in 5 years. It's like this, it's gonna be virtually worthless. I mean, they're depreciating assets. I mean,
But we gotta look at what the rent would be down there too.
the only thing we're also gonna contend with coming soon, and I know I'm hearing about it because I'm a parent, but next November, they're gonna go out for a bond.
For the
So,
school,
either to extend their existing or go again, so. I think we need to get creative with it, but not only the sleeping quarters,
We have a good problem with that and we gotta be able to maintain and then
Yes,
continue to build
We
it for
do.
the future with it. But
Years ago, we talked about this same thing, putting, sorry, chief, I've been around here too long. We talked about it, putting a mobile, facility. I kind of tend to agree with you that maybe looking about adding on to the back of this building. Is that worth looking at? Because we did put, what, 7 million into this? Updating this building,
No, it was only 800,000.
or 800,000, yeah, not million,
yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
But we did put a lot of money.
addition to the building is, again, it's gonna take some time. It's not a quick turnaround
Right.
and that's what I'm up against we need something yesterday to change what we're doing. We looked into storage units. That's become a problem in itself and that isn't really the best option just for the sake of storing a lot of the excess stuff. But as we add volunteers, obviously our uniform and PPE inventory has to grow. We've got 25 volunteer applications for the current process and we still got about 2 weeks before that closes. So the want is there, but we're really coming up against capacity. I'm gonna have to cap it here at some point
So-
sooner than later.
to change the subject a little bit, those applicants, how many of those are in district?
We haven't sat down and looked at them yet.
Okay. So is there anything that we can do at the George Station to help alleviate sleeping and whatnot? I mean, primarily, it's my understanding Friday night, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday up there.
It depends on the day of the week. Sometimes we'll get Tuesday after drills. It's
Okay,
kind of hit and miss. but-
okay, okay,
But yeah, we have people up there, actually a lot more often than I thought we would.
okay, okay.
And we've tried to move some things up there for the sake of storage and whatnot.
with that building there and see if we can't get that for a good deal. And it's a temporary fix and then, get back together and start coming with some permanent ideas, and see that they're doable. So put a committee back together or.
I agree.
So.
I don't like the separation,
I don't either.
but I think that's, if it's an immediate need that needs to happen,
Yeah.
that's a good option.
I think that's our best option right now is to do something along those lines. It's not ideal. It's not gonna be long-term by any means, but there's something else.
And they're like 1% interest or 2% interest or.
I don't know as far as bonds. I imagine it exists. I did look into like grants for the fire stations and they were actually, it died on the floor in Congress for fire station grant. Might be a long shot. But I think we would get, probably is out there, but I don't know for sure. without looking.
So I know, I'm not suggesting this, but like Mike Park, when he put the industrial park in, he did what's called an LID with the city. The city can borrow money a heck of a lot cheaper than. I definitely don't want to be in bed with the city, but that I can't remember what the rate was on that money that was borrowed for the industrial park, but it was really, really low.
I don't believe we're eligible
For
for
that,
through the
probably
city.
not.
Yeah, it seemed like I asked him about that early on.
Okay.
It was exclusively for private.
Yeah. So you need a private entity to build it and then sell it to you.
Well,
I think Director McAdoo's gonna try to reach out to Emirates again and then you'll sign out.
I mean, if he wants way too much or something, I mean, I don't expect that we would do something stupid, take on more than we can. Those are good options to pursue.
What else is around?
That's,
Worth
I
looking.
don't think there's anything.
That's a
I'll do
big
some more.
building.
It is, but I'll do some more looking too and see what else is out there, but
There's
that,
downtown or here or anything close by
Maybe.
here that may have some office
Maybe.
space.
um,
I think you have a consensus from the board to expand, start looking. at
Start looking,
options,
yes.
Come back. to us.
and I think that's what I need for the immediate, but for the long term, we we can't lose sight of this, and we gotta keep making some progress, whether we do committee or work session or however you guys want to proceed, but we've got to keep moving forward.
I agree 100%. Yeah, we gotta get it out in front of this.
Maybe we'll find out more on that, but think about that a little bit between now and the November meeting, and we'll just keep it on the agenda for the next. And then go from there.
Sounds good. Okay, 7. We're after fire.
Yeah, so I didn't get as far along with this as I'd hoped by today, but well, it's probably one of those topics that, but obviously a lot of talk about it now after the fact and how things went. And, overall, it's really positive. We found something, of course, funky in the whole system and not really the Estacada level, but county level and dispatch level. Apartments with ODF and whatnot, but we're working on that kind of stuff. I hope to put together an actual report on that incident and what that looks like. But it did finish out at 34.9 acres. We did get the fire management assistant grants, which is through ODF, and that's going to pay for the first 72 hours from midnight after we initially got there through Monday night. Yeah, Monday night. So that sets up a lot of time about what to get a whole lot of enforcement. Working on that one. We met the county fire defense board level and after that, talked about fire defense board, looking at how we can improve the system. And specifically as it relates to extended attack. So when we get past that first 24 hours, we're in extended attack. And we were on this thing until the following Saturday or Sunday, mopping up and just making sure it didn't go anywhere. So how we managed that was a little clunky, especially in the first couple of days, because we really didn't have the overhead. It was had these two guys working their butts off and then had to give them a break so I could take it over so they could come back and do it. Clackamas helped out with their overhead, but they found out the same thing. Most of them had been helping with this the night before, and they were just burned by the time we hit 1 in the afternoon. So on a county level, trying to expand on that ability, and we're having some really good conversations, and I think that's going to take off. There's good stuff coming out of it. Be more to come, and like I said, I'll keep you on the know where it's at. Might not be anything, but I think it'll be a topic here for a little while, just to keep you informed.
To be honest with you, after hiring you, we should actually be an expert in wildfire.
We're looking really good.
So expect nothing but less.
Okay, got it. So that's all I got for
Okay. All right. Staff committee reports.
So my report, the right page. MacGyver Fire took up a lot of our time in the last month and we got busy. Engine 332, which was the green machine or Shrek, did get some damage to the rear tailboard, so it's in the shop having that repaired. It also had a pretty significant oil leak, so it is going into the shop next or about to have that taken care of. We did get our full PM and NFPA inspection done on the water tender, which all our rigs should be done annually for sure, and so we're playing a little bit of catch up. We had our annual PM on the SCBA compressor done. It's still in great shape. Somebody here was always concerned about the life of that lifespan.
Well, I'd
of it.
seen it that it was due to be replaced
But,
in 2 years or something.
Yeah.
But it's looking good. I don't see where we're gonna have to replace that anytime soon. Let's see. 107 incidents for September, so pretty much average. We did get a smoke alarm grant, so Sarah's getting ready to go out and do 50 smoke alarm installations. I think they got a neighborhood targeted for that, and we've got some of our volunteers being trained so we can go out and actually do some smoke alarm installs. She did some juvenile fire setter education for 4 juveniles. We did complete our hydrant maintenance program, so all the hydrants have been inspected. Continued to do the high school football games. We have the annual, what will become the annual open house is this Saturday, 2 in the afternoon till 6 p.m. If you can stop by, it'd be great. We got case reviews done with Dr. Stone. We got our new monitors with our ARPA grant money showed up here just this last week, and we started the in-service on those, and Tony's been heading that up. And those should be in service by the end of next week.
What brand is it?
Life Pack 15.
Oh, the same shit I use.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. So it's a regionalization. So Washington, Multnomah, Clackamas are all going to the same thing.
Really?
Let's see what else. Our audit was complete, so you guys should get an audit report for this last fiscal year, hopefully by the next meeting. They weren't available to do it tonight, but we're looking for the next board meeting to be able to get that in. Let's see. Any other questions about the fire chief's report?
What's assist DHS with fire drill?
That was something that Sarah helped out with. An annual fire drill they were required to do. And Nikki is not here tonight. She's on vacation, so you guys have the finance report. I think the big one was that we made our LoSAP quarterly payment. We had obviously a lot of overtime in the last month with the MacGyver fire and whatnot. Otherwise, financially, we look to be in good shape. Tax money has not started coming in yet, but that should start anytime, probably the next month. So
I haven't seen my tax bill yet.
What's that?
Have you seen your tax bill yet? I haven't seen mine.
No, I haven't got
I
mine.
didn't think we were getting one this year.
Well, I
No,
know.
you are.
I'm
No,
teasing.
because I normally go pay it in cash.
Yeah.
And, so you can go down there and they'll tell you what you owe come October 15th.
Oh, okay.
But they don't mail them out until later because they're not due until towards the end of the month.
Yeah.
Because they're doing November 15th.
Okay.
And we did get our tax levy certification from Department of Assessment and Taxation. That they're certifying 3.9 million for collection on the 22-23 tax roll for our district.
We're getting
3.9.
close to that 4 million.
Yeah.
I want to say that's it's more than anticipated again, so good thing.
Very nice.
If you have any other questions on the finance report, I will try to answer it. Otherwise, I may have to defer that until Nikki comes back.
Well, I had a couple of questions that I was asked, wife asked me and Dave asked, I noticed, they were supposed to get some reimbursement checks for that fire. They said they put in the money. They weren't in the check, so they asked me to ask about that stuff.
I do not know, so you can, if you remember on Monday,
Okay,
she'll be back in the office then.
they asked me to ask, and I said, well,
That was for the Winco food run, wasn't it?
yeah, in the middle of the
when they
night.
went.
Yeah, surely when they use their credit card, Winco doesn't
Oh,
But they
yeah,
don't
they don't
do
take credit
cash or
card.
debit.
I know.
Dave have to have a debit card.
And I don't know how much it was either, so
I don't need it. I would just ask.
I'm sure there's a receipt. Well,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
They fell under
You're
the
gonna have
desk.
to ask, you're gonna have to ask.
Okay.
Receipts were handed to me.
But I don't need, maybe you can.
Yeah, I can find out.
Yeah, I don't need to be. Yeah. Leave that up to you.
It's time to start.
They just asked
It was for Dave, right?
Shirley McAdoo and Dave asked.
They both had it?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're gonna be starting our board meeting here.
I think we're getting ready to end.
Getting close.
We are.
Anyhow, I'm okay with finding.
Yep. We can. Chief Lashford, get any public comment? Okay. Board comments, I've got a couple of things. We still need one board member to sign up for either the Board Leadership Academy or Fire Directors Academy to be able to keep our discount.
Thought I
SDA.
signed up for that, but
I-
maybe I better,
I signed up for the Board Leadership Academy.
I'll take the other.
You can do the other one.
Yeah.
We can do the board. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So two of
That-
us, I think Cheryl, right? Two of us need to be doing that Board Academy, right?
That
Or
was
one
the
or
third and
other.
the fifth, wasn't it?
Pardon me?
Is that the one in the Hood River on the?
No, we haven't got
That's
there
above
yet.
and beyond that.
Oh,
This is,
okay.
this is with SDAO in order to keep our insurance cheaper,
Yeah,
okay? And then Cheryl, it says you have, so Matt, Paul and John still need to watch videos, right?
No, I just highlighted Paul.
Paul's the only one that needs,
To do something.
oh, you need to watch your videos.
all right, so how do I get to the videos?
Get with Cheryl.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Alright.
You guys went to that conference.
Yeah.
so you go attending one of those counted.
Okay,
So the easiest thing Paul can do is just watch one of those videos on SDAO
How soon does that have to be done?
by November 4th.
Oh, crap. I'm leaving Sunday for 2.5 weeks.
Take your iPad with you.
3 months.
Real serious.
notice.
That's the good thing.
That's a good
Yeah.
excuse.
So when you watch those videos, I mean, you just sent it to us. I watched it,
Oh, okay.
Can you,
good.
but does it like email you and say that he
Yeah,
watched it?
let me know
can you
watched it.
email me the
let
link?
her know you watched it.
Then I'll see what I can do in the next 2 days.
Okay, there's one where you only have to watch one, there's one where you have to watch 6. I'll mail you the one where you watch one. And even if you have to fast forward and put it on 1.5, just do it.
Sweet. 1.5, what's that?
Yeah, then you can make it go faster.
Oh, really? Faster is good.
We're in a public meeting here.
Just please email me.
I will
Laura,
email
are you
you
in
the
tomorrow?
next one.
Okay.
No, but I'll do it tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Easy.
Okay,
Refresh me how I sign up for that leadership. thing.
Oh, here,
I thought,
hey, Paul,
Yeah.
if you want to take
Okay.
this with you.
okay, I'll grab it.
I'll try
Yeah,
not-
and she'll help, she can help you.
I'll do that.
Okay.
She can help you figure it out. I was a little confused on how to get in there and do it, but, anyway, so you're gonna do the leadership thing, John? Okay.
I'll get on that tomorrow. I thought I was
And that-
already on.
And that, we got, if you attended some of those classes that we went to, I've got my certificate, so I think those will go along
Yeah,
with spending, yeah,
I got two of them. Got the draft,
yeah,
got the prop.
yeah, okay. Okay, all right. And then November 3rd to the 5th, we got the Oregon Fire Service Conference, and you're going.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go. I will be there, I'm going, you'll be there too.
I would
We
like to
can
go.
ride with you.
You can be out of town.
You probably don't want me to
I'll be
go
right
out
back.
stinky. I will already have not showered for a week.
Yeah,
So who's gonna, are you gonna drive or?
doesn't matter.
doesn't matter?
Where's it at, Hood River?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can drive.
it's right down the freeway.
Is that an overnight thing? Yeah, it's 3rd to the 5th. You wanna go?
And there,
You almost acted like you wanted to go.
so my response is quick because I keep like, oh, I'll go to this conference and I sit there for 8 hours.
I got one tomorrow and one all day Saturday, but I'm gonna quit at noon on Saturday and come over and help with the event here or so. And they do get boring sometimes.
Yeah, but some are pretty
Some
good.
of them are pretty good. You get
Some of them classes are good.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other board comments? Anybody got anything they wanna bring up?
I got a text correspondence from Wednesday, October 19th. From a citizen up there on Whispering Pines.
Yep.
And this is a good one. Those fire truck drivers are awesome. Watching them manipulate an already tight roundabout it was even tighter with the floor company's work than close to the elevator doors. Good job, guys. So I don't know who was on Wednesday, the 19th, but I wanted to pass that on.
That was yes.
Yeah, it was, yeah, today's,
Do you guys have a call at Whispering Pine?
no, it, yeah, I got this one. Good job. Good job.
Yeah, we got from James Bartowski's, Dear Estacada Fire Department note tell you and all involved, terrible fire at MacGyver Park entrance. My father, who is 88 years old today, has his home today on Springwater Road. Thanks to all your doing your job and beyond. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Just big thank you for the work that we did on the MacGyver fire, and they also include a check for $500 to the fire.
Very
Wow.
nice.
And then
Rescue Memorial Fund.
yeah, we'll have to figure out where we're gonna put it or what we're doing. but-
Typically, when people don't, when public donates money, it goes into the Rescue
That's what we-
Memorial Fund.
Change that tradition too, we have.
I don't think we should.
And then we got from Alice Bronson, thank you for the flowers and attending the.
They were.
Yeah. Yeah, I met Alice's sisters
Yeah,
and they're like, that's a.
yeah,
fire
they come
department
over
family and
personally.
stuff,
and
yeah.
thank
Ralph made a big impression on the fire department.
We call back the emergency. Just below the.
Yeah, first
First responder class, yeah, first responder,
First responder.
got all the,
top mine and stuff. Yeah.
he was really engaged. And when I came here in 83, so I don't know how, I know he had
I
20
think it-
years there, I know that.
Long time. I learned something about him at that funeral that I didn't,
Yeah,
especially the big rock house.
I knew he was a rock, he was always showing me that stuff. I remember when we used to have a craft sale, he always set up a table with the
Did he?
craft sales, and show his rocks and sell them. Good memories.
Okay, next meeting is gonna be November 17th at 6 p.m. Need a motion to-
You get to adjourn, you're the chairman.
Okay.
so, Yeah,
We're gonna adjourn.
there you go.
And where your pen?